to the history mix, switching up the flow as we add the prefix. Everybody knows that we used to be six wives.
Hello, my name is Margaret Adele, and welcome to Six, the Tag. This is in honor of the latest musical obsession that I have, thanks to Garan, aka Goblet of Fiction. I will link his channel down below. He is obsessed with this musical, and I started listening to it, and I'm kind of obsessed too. So if you don't know, Six the musical is literally the six wives of Henry VIII reimagined as pop stars with their own concert, and they made a girl group, and they each get their own individual songs, and it's fantastic. So when I thought, oh, we have the six wives, that would translate pretty well into a book tag with some, awkward lip syncing, because after doing that in a previous tag, I just love the idea of it. So here we go. The Six Wives of Henry VIII, reimagined as pop stars, reimagined as books. First up is Katherine of Aragon, his first wife, who was I think the longest marriage he had, and who he tried desperately to set aside. But as we all know, she did not deserve it. So for this one, you must pick a book or a book edition that you probably should set aside for one reason or another, but you never will. And that for me is this copy of The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. This is very well loved. I actually fear reading this copy again because I'm afraid the pages are just going to start falling out. So if I ever want to reread it, I might have to pick an e-copy that you can get for free. But I can't give this up. I picked this up when I was 9 years old, and the story gripped me from the beginning. This is about a young girl who's kind of a brat, born and raised in India by parents who don't care, but after they die, she's sent to live in England with an uncle she's never met. And somewhere on this expansive manor house that her uncle has, she hears about a secret garden and decides she's going to uncover it. And in doing so, starts herself and many other characters on a path of self-discovery and maybe a bit of magic. I love this book to death. This cover shows the 17 years of love it has endured, but I am never giving it up.
Sorry about what I said. I'm just trying to have some fun. Don't worry, don't lose your head. I didn't mean to hurt anyone.
Up next is Anne Boleyn. I'm not gonna lie, when I first heard this song, I was kind of salty, because I thought that they had done her dirty, because Anne Boleyn was well known for being clever and witty and intelligent, and her song in the musical was very airheady. But Garan said that it's kind of like a bait and switch, where she sings the song and then gives the entire shame spiel of the story in very intelligent language, essentially to show this is what people thought of her, but this is who she actually was. And for this one, you need to pick a book that looks lighthearted on the surface, but actually has a lot of deeper themes beneath. And for that, I picked Tavern by Destin Munden. On the surface, this is a cute, fun, slice-of-life D&D style fantasy, but underneath that surface, there's a main character that is so sure that he is a failure and deals with low self-esteem all the time, and basically needs to be constantly reminded that his talents are worth something. There's also some slight racial coding. The author is an author of color, and some of those experiences do come through, even though the main character isn't an African American. They're an orc, but orc are dark skinned, so it kind of makes sense. So I loved this book for the deeper themes, as well as the lighthearted, the part where they went skateboarding in this fantasy world.
You can build me up, you can tear me down, you can try, but I'm unbreakable. You can do your best, but I'll stand the test. You'll find that I'm unshakable.
Up next, Jane Seymour, the wife he truly loved. More or less, it might have had something to do with the fact that she had a son for him, but she passed away, the only wife to die during the marriage of natural causes. So for this one, you need to pick a series that you truly love, that you have read through to completion. For me, this is The Shadow Campaign series by Django Wexler. This is the first book. I recently finished it. It is a flintlock fantasy based on the Napoleonic Wars, where there is both flintlock warfare with flintlock pistols and muskets, and also some fantasy. Maybe they're inhabited by demons, maybe they're not powers. I finished this not even a month ago. I'm still grieving. I still want there to be more books, even though it ended at a good place. I'll get over it. I'll move on. It's just I need time.
I'm the queen of the castle. Get down, you dirty rascal. Get down.
Next up, Anne of Cleves, my personal favorite of the wives, even before the musical. When I studied it in history class, she just seemed like the smartest one to me. She was well known for being put aside fairly quickly because she did not look like the portrait that Henry had been sent. He deigned her too ugly to be his queen, but girlfriend had a prenup and lived the rest of her life in pretty wealthy, and she did not want for anything, and still was a very close friend of his and kind of like a godmother to his daughters Elizabeth and Mary. So girlfriend knew what it was about. For this one, you also need to pick a girlfriend who knows what it's about. Pick a book with a female character that is wealthy and successful without a husband. Note, I said without a husband, not that she is not married, because my pick for this one is Forgetting Chuck Taylor by Bailey Peters. This is all about a queer romance between two women, both of whom are steadily working themselves back up. You have Taylor, who has kind of shady past, but is working to overcome that, and Ava, who wants to be a one-woman business for essentially planning weddings and is working and going to conferences and building up her business. They are both working hard, and no man is in the picture. And it's also an adorable FF romance.
All you wanna do, baby, is touch me when will enough be enough? See, all you wanna do, baby, is squeeze me. Don't care if you don't please me.
Next up, Katherine Howard. More so than Anne Boleyn, Katherine Howard was known for being the one that was just all about sex, apparently. Now, what people don't realize is she was really young, especially in comparison to where Henry was at this point in his life, and had basically always just been considered for sex, but there was more to her, and it gets overlooked. So for this one, and this one might be a tough one, you have to pick a romance or an erotica that has a greater subtext or theme than just sex and relationships. And this one's a little bit weird because I'm actually picking a book that I have not read yet, but is on my Indie to review list. And that is Whispers of Hope by Angel Nix. This is a light BDSM relationship. However, early on in the book, our main female protagonist realizes that she has come down with breast cancer. And part of the reason I really want to mention this now, even though I have not read this book yet, is because throughout the month of October, if you purchase this book, half of the proceeds will go to breast cancer awareness and breast cancer research. I believe more research than awareness, which is where it should go. I will be reviewing this book sometime in September, but this idea always intrigued me, the idea of, yeah, it's an erotica, but there's also a way bigger purpose than just fun, sexy times.
I'd say, Henry, yeah, it's true. I'll never belong to you. 'Cause I am not your toy to enjoy till there's something new. As if I'm gonna give him my boy, my work, my dreams to care for you. Ha! Don't get a clue. There's nothing you can do. I don't need your love.
Last up is Catherine Parr, the one that survived. The one who gave up love because she was basically forced to, because you can't say no to the king, who also did a lot of incredible other things after doing all that. Now, this is based more off of her song in the musical than anything else. Catherine is the one in the musical to kind of make everyone realize that you don't need him. We don't need to be in his shadow anymore. And in honor of that kind of we are our own people-esque plot, I challenge you for this one to pick a book with no romance in it. There can be familial love, friendship love, no romantic love. This one was a little hard for me, but then I remembered that I had Ascendant by Kimberly Gray. This is a YA fantasy based on a young to her species, Angel, who has been sent on a mission to infiltrate the enemy. She then gets captured by the enemy and realizes that that's not all what she thought they were, what she was taught that they were. But this has no romance. There is an adorable brother-sister platonic relationship that she develops with one of my favorite characters in the book, but no romance. Now this one I realize is probably going to be hard for a lot of people because there's just so many books with romance, but we need to remember, we need to pull a Katherine Parr and remember that our lives are more than the romantic partners we have. So that is it. That is 6 the tag. And if I'm going to start tagging people, obviously Garan, in honor of inspiring this and inspiring me and giving me one of my latest musical obsessions. I have listened to Anne of Cleves' song like 20 times, and I just started listening to this less than 24 hours ago. I'm not joking. I have done research. It's a great musical. You guys should check it out. And if you would like to do this tag, please do. I've never tried to get a tag off the ground before, so I don't even know if I can, but this one just felt like a lot of fun. And with nothing else to say, I hope you have a wonderful day and a marvelous tomorrow.